Venerable Sirs, brothers and sisters in the Dharma, Sukhi Hotu. My name is Jason from BMSM Youth Section, and I will be your host for today. Welcome to the Exploring Your Reality series, which is organized by Buddhist Missionary Society Malaysia Youth Section with Venerable Yaninda. Today will be our second episode titled Nature Well-Being. Just some gentle reminders. Please use your actual name in the Zoom room. If you face any technical issues, please let us know via the chat box. Our team will try to assist you. We would request you to turn on your video as well, as this will be an interactive session. Allow me to go through the flow of today's program. After this, we will have the opening puja, followed by a short mindfulness meditation up to 8:15 p.m., followed by a quick recap on the previous episode, and then the video screening and Dharma talk at 8:20 p.m. For today's session, we would have two videos, so please bear with us when there's an interchange. At 9:15 p.m., we would have the interactive session with the participants to share their views on the videos and questions up to 9:50 p.m. And where we would conduct that, at 9:15 p.m., we would conduct dedication of merits. We are estimated to end today's session at 10 p.m. today. For the interactive session at 9:15 p.m., I seek participants' assistance to post your questions in the chat box. We also encourage you to actually take turns to voice out you can on your mic and speak to us as well, if you do not wish to post in the chat box. And The videos, you can actually post anything regarding your questions or even your experience and how you relate to them in your daily lives. Please note, due to short time constraint, not everyone's questions may be answered during the session. However, you may approach to post your questions to Venerable, and we'll provide an answer over the coming weeks. Okay, with that adieu, we shall move on to the next session, which is the puja. Thank you.
Now we shall request for 3 refuges and 5 precepts from Bante. Okay, let us hold our palm and you may repeat after me. Aham Bante Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silang Dhammang Yachami Anugahang Katawa Silang Deta Me Bante Dudiyampi Aham Bante Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silang Dhammayachami Anugahang Katawa Silang Deta Me Bante Tatiyampi Aham Bante Tisaranena Saha Pancha Silang Dhammayachami Anugahang Katawa Silang Deta Me Bante
Namahang Vadami Tam Vadeta.
Ama Bante
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tisaranena gamanang paripunang.
Ama Bante
Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Anatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adina dana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu michachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramaraya maja pamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya maja pamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
ดาเมสีลังอาสวะขยาวหังโหตุ
ดาเมสีลังอาสวะขยาวหังโหตุ
อิดาเมสีลังนิบานาสาปัจจโยโหตุ
ดาเมสีลังนิบานาสาปัจจโยโหตุ
ติสารเนนะสหปัญจสีลังดามังสดุกังขัตวะอปมาเดนะสัมปาเดตา
อามาบันเต
สา
สาธุสาธุสาธุ
Sadhu. We shall now proceed with the short meditation session.
Okay. Just sit in a relaxed posture, but try to keep your back straight. Just aware of your whole body. Feel your body as a whole. Then feel different parts of your body. Aware of the top of your head. Your face. The back of the head. The neck. Aware of your chest, shoulders, hands, aware of your abdomen, the back of your body, your buttock that's touching the chair or your cushion that is sitting on, and your legs. Now bring your attention to your breath. Just aware of the breath going in, going out. And try also breathing in, returning to the calmness of the mind. Breathing out, letting go of all your worries, all the past and the future plans. Or just simply aware of the breath going in, going out. Now with this calmness, put your attention on your heart. Wish yourself to be well and happy, free from mental suffering, free from physical suffering. And allow this wish to flow out, this good energy to flow out to all beings around you in your room, wishing them to be well, to be happy, free from all suffering. Allow this good energy to continue to flow to all beings in the area that you are living in your city, wishing all beings in your city to be well, happy, free from mental suffering, free from physical suffering. Continue to allow this good energy to flow to the whole country, wishing all beings free from all diseases, free from all suffering, to be well and happy. Finally, allow all this good energy to flow to the whole world, wishing all beings, regardless of race, religion, citizens, nationalities, to be well, to be happy, to be free from mental suffering, free from physical suffering. Now bring your attention back to your body, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes.
Thank you, Bhante, for that guided session on meditation. We shall now go on to the next session, which would be a quick recap on the previous episode.
Can you wait? I will say something first before we go on to the slides. Okay. So first, I would like to stress that this whole series, what we are trying to do is to explore the realities, or you can say, actually explore our misconception about the realities of the world. And this is actually very in line with the aim of Buddhist of Nibbana. Nibbana is awakening to the truth, and we quite often think that truth is something very far out there. This truth is actually awakening to our misconception of the realities around us. And when you awake to this misconception of reality around us, you will solve all the problems that we have in our world. The problems that we have in our world, it's all due to our misunderstanding or misconception of how life works. Okay. So last week, what we do is we understand the misconception of a missing link of thought. Okay. How it works is we think that our emotional pain, our difficulties in life all comes from outside, comes from the pandemic, comes from our boss, comes from our family, and so on. But actually, if you look carefully, there is a missing link, which is the thought. It is not what's happening, the situation out there, or the people there that get us upset or angry or sad. It is our thought. Why I say it's our thought is your boss might be saying something, but it is your thinking that why my boss say this? How come he always scold me? Or why he always attack me only? It is all these thoughts that cause you problem. So if you understand this, then the solution is not about changing the thoughts, because the thoughts are, you can say, an automatic reaction of your habits. To try to change your thoughts will be giving you another stress. Your job is to see that there's a missing link called thoughts and to not pay too much attention to it. At this moment in our life is we believe every single thing that comes to our thought as the truth, and we never question it. What I hope you all to do is in your life to question your thought as whether it's really true or not. And you will realize that 90% or 100% of the time is not true. Okay, so what you have to do is, once you slowly understand that the thoughts are not 100% absolute truth, then you can slowly ignore it. How? It's like, imagine you walk into a shopping complex and music is playing. Okay, when music is playing, maybe that music you hate it, but no one ever walked to the reception and said, please stop that music because I hate the music. What we normally do is we just continue on doing our shopping, and slowly, somehow, by ignoring it, that music never really affects us anymore. So similarly, by not thinking that our thoughts as absolute truth, slowly it will not run your life. Okay, so this is the main ideas of what we talked about last week. Ting Yen, can we have the slides? So it is where's the echo? Okay, so we think it's circumstances deeper than things that causes anger, but it is the thought that causes anger. Next slide. So the job for us to do is look inside, not look outside. When you look inside, you will slowly understand that whatever that causes us our problems, sadness, angers, and so on, is the thoughts in us, not out there. Next slide. And then next, we have to see that the thoughts are not real. They are not solid reality, not ultimate truth. Next slide. Thoughts are like rainbow. It is, you cannot say it's nothing. It's there, but it's not really there. Okay, it's not a solid things that you think that it is the truth. Next slide. So the problem, I want to stress that the problem is not that you have thoughts. The problem is you listen to the thoughts, you give credence to it, and you agree with them. A thought without credence is like balloon without air. There's no problem with it. Next slide. This is what physicist David Bohm says. It's not, the world that we experience is created by our thought, and thought creates the world and says, I didn't do it. Next slide. We feel, I want to emphasize this, we feel our thoughts, not the circumstances out there. So the circumstances out there don't really cause our problem. Our problems comes from the thoughts in here. Okay, I think the rest of the slides are for the conclusion. We'll stop here for the slides. Now, the videos that we're going to show today, there are 2 videos, is the next step. Okay, now I want to show you that naturally all of us are calm. This is what the video will show, that like our physical health, let's say if you cut your hands, if you don't do anything, it will automatically heal by itself. Similarly, our mind is naturally calm. If you don't do anything, you don't have any thoughts to disturb it, it will naturally settle back to a calm, peaceful mind. So no matter how sad, how angry, how depressed you are, if you are patient enough and you wait, this calmness of mind will come again. You will settle down and you get back your natural calmness of mind. So important thing to stress is we are never angry person or depressed person or sad person. We have angry thoughts, we have depressed thoughts, we have sad thoughts. And that makes a lot of difference. The thoughts is not you, okay? We can start the video and then I will explain further regarding the video.
When we cut ourselves, we heal. It's just part of our physical immune system working. It does this naturally with no will on our part. But we don't just have a physical immune system, we also have a psychological one.
Oh.
There's anger, it passes. There's sadness, it passes. There's confusion. It passes. This is our psychological immune system working. Like the physical immune system, it happens naturally with no will on our part, with or without our conscious involvement. Children are a great example of this. They can get very upset, then be back to joy and love very quickly, and naturally, without doing anything to their mental states. Because we don't need to do anything for our minds to change, it just does it naturally. Our capacity for mental and emotional healing and recovery isn't stronger in some people and not others, because it's not personal to us. It's impersonal to all of us. There's an operating system behind life, where life naturally returns to balance. After Hiroshima, experts believed it would be almost a century before anything would grow again. But within a month, red cornflowers sprouted from the bomb's epicenter, and a year later flowering cherries blossomed within a mile of the crater. This is nature's operating system working to bring balance. But we're not just part of nature, we are nature in human form. So nature's operating system is also operating us, and not just some of us, but all of us. We are not just connected to it, we are it, experiencing life as a human. Nature is resilient. We are nature in human form. We too are resilient. This natural flow has been moving through the human mind well before psychology was invented, and well before we knew anything about the brain. There is absolutely nothing we need to do to make this system work better or quicker. However, we have innocently learned or been conditioned to do things that gets in the way of this system working. It's a bit like if we cut ourselves and kind of keep messing with the wound, it will take longer to heal or maybe get infected. We innocently do things to get in the way of our psychological immune system. Well, what's getting in the way of our psychological immune system? Skip to the next video to find out. If we are the resilience and intelligence of nature in human form, why can many of us seemingly experience the dark or stormy side? Well, in the ocean there are lots of waves. The waves aren't separate from the ocean, they're just the ocean waving. They are part of the ebb and flow of the ocean. Our moods are like waves. They are the ebb and flow of the human experience. It's the human experience waving. It's as natural for this to happen as it is for the ocean to have waves. However, if we get big waves or a lot of waves, we can create a belief that there is something wrong with us. We don't think the ocean is broken when there's a storm, but we can create the false belief that we are broken when we storm. But guess what happens if we just wave and storm without making any meaning about it? It passes. Because this is just what happens when the flow of the human ocean is left to do its thing. Human suffering has little to do with what we are experiencing, and everything to do with making meaning about what we're experiencing, making waves about the waves. There may be suffering, but we don't have to suffer suffering. When it's raining, we don't think nature is broken, or that it will always rain. So when we have rainy emotions, why can we often think there's something wrong with us, or worry that the rain will never stop? When it gets dark at night, we don't worry that it will never be day again. So why do we get scared of dark moods? Psychological freedom has little to do with our mental weather. It's understanding we are okay no matter the weather.
Oh man!
Because we are not the weather. We are the sky of brilliant consciousness with weather passing through it. We are not our emotions. We are the resilience and brilliance of nature, benign and unbreakable, with gentle rains, powerful storms and breezy sunny days. bringing us the totality of the rich and authentic human experience. What would happen if we understood our moods in the same way we understand the weather? All climatic states are necessary for life, and all emotional states are necessary for the human experience, which are just waves on the surface of a deep and still ocean. We are the infinite ocean, and we're just waving. What would happen if we stopped trying to avoid certain mental climatic conditions or seeking others, and just let them be as they are?
Wow.
If the only thing we learnt was not to be afraid of our experience, that alone would change the world. Sydney Banks. If we're afraid of the human experience because we don't know or trust how it naturally self-balances and thrives, we think we need to change, control, manage, stop, or generally do something to our minds. But in the act of trying to manage them, we just kind of get more of them.
Oh no!
This is adding waves to the waves, leading to additional weather and a busier mind. Because thinking about our thinking, then using thinking to change thinking, well, it kind of leads to just more thinking. The power is not in thinking about our experience. The power is in understanding the nature of our experience. Then we're not so afraid of it, whatever the weather, leading to a quieter mind. Oh, that's thought.
Yeah.
Okay. The message is very simple, but you might have to see even the video. Some people told me they have to watch it a few times in order to get the message behind it. So I hope in order to help you, you might have to see or watch the videos again and again so that you get the message through that. Number one, we already naturally have this calm mind. Number two, it's our thoughts that get us away from this natural calm mind. So one way for us to see this is look at babies. Okay, babies have this natural happiness in them, unless they need something. Let's say that they're hungry or they're wet, then only they cry. But you never find any babies that are in depression and need mental therapy. That never happens, because this is our natural calmness or happiness inside us, that we are born with it. So this is also, you can say in Anguttara Nikaya, book 1, verse 49 and 50, which Buddha says, Babasara mitam bhikkhave chittam, tanza ko akantu kehi upakilesehi upakiletanti ti. Luminous monks is the mind, and it is defiled by incoming or guest defilements. So the mind is actually normally calm and peaceful. Luminous means calm, peaceful, bright. And the next verse, Babasara mitam bhikkhave chittam, tanza ko akantu kehi upakilesehi vipamutanti ti. Luminous monks, it is the mind, and it is free from incoming or guest defilements. So a person that's trained, all he got to do is not create more defilements on top of the already calm, bright, happy mind. Now, I want to point out that normally we have this wrong belief that our mind is naturally not calm, very busy, and we have to calm it. But actually, it's the other way around. It is normally the mind is very calm, but we are the one to make it not calm. Then you say, what's the difference between this? It's a lot of difference. If you think it's normally calm, then we try to get rid of the thoughts to reach this calmness. And the more you get rid of thoughts, the more thoughts come. But if you know that's naturally calm, all you got to do is not add in more thoughts. It will come back to this calmness. So this is the first thing we need to know. I give you an example. what's the color of this paper? Okay, you should be able to see it's all white. Okay, and now you might not be see this. What's the color of the inside the box? Okay, you should be able to see it's still white. Okay, what's the color inside the box? You should see that it is black. Okay, but actually it is black on top of white. The white is still at the background. So similarly, even though no matter how many thoughts we have, there is still the calmness at the background. Okay, so as long as you don't create more thoughts, when the thoughts are impermanent, that calmness will come back. And like the clouds, you have no control of the thoughts. You have no control of the thoughts, so you have no like the clouds, you have no control of the clouds. But you know that behind the clouds there is the sun. The sun is always there. All you got to do is be patient and wait. When the clouds go away, the sun will be there. Similarly, if you are patient and wait, when the thoughts go, your calm mind is there. Now, at this moment, when without your thoughts of your boss, your work, your family, you are naturally calm and happy. Okay. Similarly, if there is a fire alarm sounded now, you don't have time to think about your boss, your work, and so on. You are never stressed with work, with your family, with boss, and so on, because you're not thinking about it. So there are people who take extreme sport, like driving very fast or climb up tall mountains and all that, to make their mind present. When your mind is present at that moment, all the thoughts are not there to disturb you. So there are people who go to extreme sport to get into this state, but we don't have to. If you understand the mechanism behind it, as long as you don't hold on to thoughts, you will be able to naturally get back to that calm state. Just now that video we saw, it shows that our physical health, physical body actually can heal itself automatically if you don't disturb it. So similarly, your mind also, if you don't disturb it, it will heal by itself. Heal means any anger, confusion that you have, they don't remain forever. It will pass. And all Buddhists should know this. Everything is impermanent, including your anger, including your confusion, your sadness, and so on. The best example as shown in the video is looking at children. 1 minute, they might be fighting over some toys. Another minute, they might be laughing. But as we grow older, because of our concept of our influence on environment and so on, we hold on to thoughts, think that it's real. And then more difficult for us to get back to this natural state. But to change this habit, to me, is just a thought away. Any belief you have, any opinion, any habit that you have, to change it is a thought away, because your belief is just a thought. And this healing process is not personal. Everyone has it. It's universal. Similarly, like it shows in the video, even a great disaster like the bomb on Hiroshima, plants grow back quite fast after that. In fact, it says within a month, the red flowers started growing. So similarly, our mind also heals very, very quickly. And one point to stress in the video is we are not separate from nature. We are nature in human form. So that resilience in nature that we talked about just now, where the plant can grow back even after it's bombed by atomic bomb, is in us. And this is what science has been discovering. What happens is, since Einstein's time, they have this what Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, or quantum entanglement. It means that they've done this experiment where they have a particle, they split it in two and put one particle, the other particle few hundreds of kilometers away. When they turn this particle clockwise, the other particle also goes clockwise. It means everything, and since everything comes from one particle since Big Bang. It means everything in the world is interconnected. All of us all are interconnected. So which means that the thing that flows in me flows in you also. And scientists have been trying to find this interconnection because they thought it is something happens to me, then through a signal, it happens to the other particle. But now they realize that it happens instantaneously. The information doesn't travel through a medium, which means that there's one hypothesis that says that we are the medium. Instead of us passing the information through a medium to the other person, is actually we are energy going through energy and to the other energy. So we are nature itself. The only problem is our thinking, our belief, stop the nature from our healing process from working quicker. As long as we don't hold on to our thoughts, then it won't stop this process of healing quickly. So what it says, like it says in the video, to try to fix our low mood is trying to open our physical wound and to make it heal faster, but we are contaminating it. So, but the problem is we have sadness. Every time we have sadness and we have tears, we think that this sadness are us. We personalize it. We think I am sad, but actually you have sad thoughts. You just have to wait until the sad thoughts passes, and then this happy, calm, natural mind will be there. So one thing also to stress that depression, we always think is bad, but actually depression is like a circuit breaker. When our mind thinks too much, the mind needs to calm down. So depression is that circuit breaker to stop you from continue to get stressed in this loss in thoughts. It's just like the hair dryer in the hotel. In the old days in the hotel, you have this hair dryer with a circuit breaker. If you use it too long, it's too hot, it will cut off by itself. But the problem is we think, if you try to start it up again, it's like you think that circuit breaker is a problem. The circuit breaker is to help you. You have to wait until it cool down, then you can start again. Similarly, with our thoughts, you wait, after a while, it will settle down. And it's important that we don't believe we are sad people or depressed people or angry people. What you believe will become the reality. As Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. So you have to know that our emotions come from these thoughts and beliefs, and the thoughts and beliefs are impermanent. Once you know that, you separate yourself from this belief. There's few person, one who discovered this, one American transformation coach says that at first he thought himself, when he was young, he thought he's depressed, he's suicidal. But later he realized that he's not depressed or suicidal. He has depressive thoughts, he has suicidal thoughts, and he don't have to listen to them. They are just thoughts, they come and go. And when you don't listen to them, even your angry thoughts, when you don't listen to them, they will disappear by itself. So these thoughts about us, you can see that it's not true by seeing that in one single day, we could maybe in the morning think that we are very good at our job. We are a really great person. In the afternoon, we might think that we are lousy in our jobs. We are a terrible person. So in one single day or even in 1 hour, our thoughts of our personality can change. Yes, our personality change, but it doesn't change that much. So our thoughts are not reliable when you look at it that way. When you analyze that way, you can see that our thoughts are not reliable. So what is stopping us sometimes is our belief on how things work. Belief is also a thought. If you can see that, you can, to make this change is just a thought away. Another thing that is pointed out in the video is that you can use the simile of the waves. Okay, the waves and the ocean is a good example. The waves is not separate from the ocean. It's just that the ocean going up and down. Just like our moods, it's just waves of our human experience, up and down. And naturally, we humans have different moods. You just have to not get too worried about it. It's natural. Sometimes, but the problem is sometimes we have big wave of moods and we think something is wrong with that. But when we see big waves in the ocean, we never think something is wrong with it. We think we are broken and we a storm of moods, but we never think that the ocean is broken. So you can use this simile as example that the ocean is always okay, even though they have waves going up and down. Similarly, even though we have moods coming up and down, we are okay. As long as you don't take the moods as real. You don't have to change the moods. You just wait, the mood storm will pass. So important to point out the other thing is, our human suffering is less to do with what we experience. We think our human suffering comes from what we experience, but actually the key suffering that we have is making meaning of our experience. Thinking that every time we face something, we think, what is wrong with me? Why does this happen to me? How come this lasts for so long? That thinking is the one that causes problem. So a point that is stated in the video that I want to stress is, we may be suffering, but we don't have to suffer our suffering. An example I want to give is the story of me and my mother. When my mother was diagnosed as cancer, I didn't really suffer in that sense, because I just keep doing what I need to do, as in find alternative medicine, find the best Western doctor, bring her for treatment and so on, and try to cheer up by reading lots of stories from Dhammapada and so on. There was no difficulty in me, tired physically, but no mental suffering. Only when one day I start to stop and think, why does this happen to my mother? How long will this last? How long has she got to suffer this? That thinking caused me really tired mentally. And that is the real mental suffering. So the suffering doesn't come from what we experience, doesn't come from my mother having cancer. The suffering comes from my thinking, my interpretation of the cancer of my mother. So this distinction is very important. It clears our misconception. That thinking, if you don't hold it real, you don't take it as true, it will pass. And then your suffering will be gone. And one of the mistakes we quite often make is, we human, we try to change all our experience to be peaceful all the time. So when we are in a low mood, we try to become judgmental and think we fail, and we try to make ourselves into a high mood. Then you are not free, because you think you're only free when you're high mood. But our world has ups and downs, like winter and summer, but maybe in Malaysia, maybe rainy days and non-rainy days. So it's up and down. You cannot make it always up. As long as you are not disturbed by this up and down, you allow it to pass through. It will definitely pass through. The key thing is, a calm mind is not freedom from the storm, but it is peace in the storm. That means you're not affected by the storm. You can't make the storm not happen. What you can do is try to make yourself not think that the storm is real. Okay, so to me, freedom is, you know that you have high and low in lives. You have laughter and tears, happy and sad, gain and loss, praise and blame. But you can accept all these different situations, and you can embrace all the ups and downs. The more we resist things, the more we contract. The more we contract, that's where we suffer. When we notice this is happening, when you open the door to whatever that comes, that is true freedom. Okay. So one example I want to give is, actually, if you can accept pain on the body, it doesn't affect you so much. Recently, I have frozen shoulder, and there's enormous pain on my right shoulder. But I find that every time I don't pay attention to it, you have two shoulders. I pay attention to the left shoulder, which has no problem. that pain doesn't affect me. The pain is always there, but as long as you don't pay attention to it, it doesn't affect you so much. So this is one important thing we can use in our life. When you pay attention to something, that's when you experience it more. Another point I want to stress is life is not happening to us. Life is just happening. But we like to personalize things. Suffering comes from personalization of experience and resistance to that personalized experience. We like to claim ownership. When you have this claiming ownership that my shoulder is very painful, then you start having mental suffering. You cannot avoid physical suffering, but that mental suffering, Buddha says we can avoid. It's like two poison arrows. You can't avoid the first poison arrow, but the second one you can, by not believing it is true. Okay, the first step is not thinking that it's true. Everything will be okay for us in life as long as we don't personalize our experience. Now, from last month's discussions, I hope that you realize that all our emotions come from our thoughts, not from outside. And these emotions are not real, they are not solid. And I hope one thing you can learn is not to be fearful of the emotions. If you can learn that, only one thing, you will make a lot of progress in your life. There's someone last month during a discussion says that he was afraid every time there's meeting, he's afraid that it's going to cancel. When you keep getting afraid, you make things more real. If you are not afraid of that emotions, then the emotion will pass. So this is the first step we hope we can make by not getting frightened of our emotions. There's another friend of mine in Malaysia who is frightened of upset that he's angry, and he's sort of frightened that he get angry very often. I told him that we are not arahant, you definitely have anger. The key thing is not to be fearful of the emotions. The more fearful you are of the emotions, you make it more real, you make it more solid when you're fearful of it. When you are not fearful of the emotions, it will come and go by itself. It's not something that stays there forever. So again, it's normal to have ups and downs in life. You don't need to run away from ups and downs. All you got to do is learn to embrace up and downs. Then you won't be afraid of these downs anymore. You trying to control these ups and downs is like you're trying to add waves to these waves of emotions, and you get more and more busy. So this one is like, you try to get a police officer to catch the thief when the thief itself is the police officer. You will never be able to solve it. You can't solve thoughts with thoughts. You just have to let the thoughts pass and not make it real. So the power here is not about doing anything. It's about understanding how our reality works. If you understand that our emotions don't come from the situation outside, it comes from our thoughts, and our thoughts are not solid, not reality, not something that is real, and it's not something that stays permanently forever. It will change the next minute if you don't hold on to it. A lot of your problems will be solved, and we won't be fearful of our fear also. One of the biggest problems of humans is we have this fear, a lot of fear of insecurity, fear of losing our wealth, fear of losing our health, and so on. And then we are fearful of this fear. Once we learn that all these emotions come from our thoughts, and our thoughts are not permanent, you can slowly, hopefully, not afraid of these emotions anymore. So now we will open to, or before we open, can we show the slides? I just want to summarize today's discussion, today's video. Ting Yuan, can we have the slides, the last few slides? Is Ting Yuan still around?
Yes, Father, he's still around.
Okay. So first thing, feelings is indicators. Okay. So if you have feeling, if you have sad feelings, You don't have to change the thoughts. Just know that it's from the thoughts based on the past. Next slide. Okay. I think you got to switch to sound. Otherwise, there's okay, so naturally we are like a diamond type. We are bright, luminous, calm, happy. It's the dirt that cover. But when we this dirt cover outside, what we do is try to put more cosmetic over it instead of just getting the dirt. Okay, next slide. In the way like the ocean, you can always pay calmness at the bottom. You don't have to pay attention to our movements. There's always calm. Next slide. Okay, two important things. One is where our from, which is thoughts. Number two is mental health. Okay. Now we can have the questions and feedback. If you have any questions or maybe even feedback, like maybe what you learned from this session.
Thank you, Bante. Members of the brothers and sisters, any questions or any feedback?
Good evening, Bante.
Okay.
Is there any way to relate what you said to the concept of emptiness in Buddhism?
May I know who is speaking so that I can?
I'm Lim Bun Leong here.
Oh, okay. The concept of emptiness. Okay. In Buddhism, the concept of emptiness, I hope you all know, is emptiness is not about nothing. Okay. Emptiness is about there is no independent entity, and easier to say that there is no permanent self in there. Like there's no permanent Nyaninda. Nyaninda keep changing every single moment. Yesterday's Nyaninda and today's Nyaninda is not the same. Okay. This one is very important to me because normally when we think of emptiness, we think it's some things that is very, very difficult for us to understand. It's something out of the world. But emptiness is just saying that there is no permanent entity there. And it's a very useful thing, which I mentioned in the last month. Let's say, I understand this concept that there's Nyaninda yesterday and Nyaninda's today is not the same. Not totally different, but not the same. Then, for example, let's say Jason beat me up yesterday. Okay. If today I get very angry at Jason and have a grudge at Jason, that's something wrong with me. Because the Jason that beat me up yesterday and the Jason today is not the same. Not 100% the same. Not totally different, but not 100% the same. The Nyaninda that was beaten up yesterday and the Nyaninda today is not 100% the same. So if I have a grudge, something is wrong with me because it doesn't exist anymore, the Jason that beat me, and the Nyaninda that got beaten doesn't exist anymore. But I have to be very careful because today's Jason and yesterday's Jason are related. Same behavior, looks the same, sounds the same. So he might beat me up again. So I just have to be careful. But having a grudge is totally wrong. If we can understand this truly, there will be no war in the world. There will be no fighting. So this understanding of practical understanding of emptiness to me is very useful in the world. Similarly, the table you have, the curtain behind me, it's not the same yesterday and today because the particle change and all that. It's getting more and more, older in age and so on. The table, everything around you, but we think it's exactly identically the same. Is that okay? The question.
Thank you. Sadhu.
Any other questions or experience you want to share, especially related to the videos? Oh, someone have a question about body pain in the chat. Let me see. Okay, from Wai Hong. Okay, I try to explain this. The question is, Bante, body pain feeling is real in our body, but we can ignore it. If we ignore body pain, it could be threatening to our life, our health, and can be dangerous. Okay, when I say ignore it, I'm not saying that don't do anything about it. I'm saying that don't suffer the pain. Okay, I went for treatment. Okay, also for my this frozen shoulders and torn ligament. I don't try to ignore it and not do anything. Okay, I try to solve it earlier by just using my mind. It didn't work heal as fast as I want to. So in the end, I look for a chiropractor. But so I'm saying that during that process, while waiting for the chiropractor, because my niece found me a very good chiropractor, but it takes 1 week to get interviewed. During that 1 week, instead of suffering in pain, you could not try to pay attention to the pain and not suffer that pain. This is what I'm saying. Okay. So it's not about ignoring it and not doing anything and let the body rot. One of the problems I feel a lot of Theravadan thinks that this body is bad. I need to, ignore the body and just go into meditation and practice. You need that body. If you're sick, you can't meditate. So I'm not saying about ignoring the body. Okay, next question. From Vincent Lin. What thoughts result in feelings? What trigger the thoughts? If possible, give an example. Thoughts result in feelings. No, thoughts and feelings are two sides of the same coin or two sides of the same stick. Okay, they arises together. Okay, you can't say thought results in feelings. They are feelings and thoughts are together. What trigger thoughts? Or can be many things. Okay, it could be your past karma. When I say karma, means conditions. Okay, I like to clarify this because a lot of Buddhists thought karma is curse. Karma is not a curse. Karma is just different conditionality. It's like past life, maybe you meet certain conditionality. The same conditionality come out, the thoughts come. Okay, for example, there's a good example of a Buddha's one attendant. Every time he passed by mangrove grove, he felt very happy, and he thought that's the best way for him to meditate. And later on, he found out why he felt very happy is many past lives in that mangrove grove, he was a king there enjoying himself. So that triggers the thought. The condition comes when he passed by that mangrove grove, the place where he was a king in the past. The thoughts and the feelings is triggered. So mainly it's triggered by conditions. Okay. Any other example or any further questions from Vincent Lim? Any other questions or experience you want to share?
Brothers and sisters, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions. This is the best time to clear any doubt as well or share with us.
Okay, another question from SJ. If body pain came early before you can reach calmness in meditation, causing can't continue to focus, how? Good question. If you can't, let's say if you're meditating, okay, and the pain disturbs you, let's say the leg is painful. If you can't, normally what we do is, one of the reasons we don't want to move is try to train the mind not to get distracted so easily. But if your body gets weak or whatever gets too painful, you have to adjust it. Our meditation is not to force yourself. Then after that, you will get so frightened, you are not going to meditate anymore. There are people who get phobia of meditation because they force themselves. Meditation is not to force yourself. So every time if you can't focus because too much pain, then you have to shift. You have to take step by step. That means you meditate starting 5 minutes, then if you can get longer, 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes. You can't start by half an hour. Okay. Next, if you have further questions on that, SJ, please ask.
Monday.
Yeah.
If it's during the meditations, if we move too much, we can't go into we can't focus. Actually, we cannot because every time like you have a back pain problem. So after some time, then you need to move. Then because of you move, then you cannot go into concentrations. So normally, what is a recommendation?
Okay, few recommendations. Number one, try to sit in the most comfortable position. You don't have to sit on the floor. Maybe sit on the chair or sit whatever way that's most comfortable to you. Because you have a back problem, you might not be able to sit on you might need more cushions on your back. Whatever you do, try to make it more comfortable. Okay. Number two, you might not be able to sit too long. Okay. So I know it's difficult if you want to, you have to solve your back pain first. If you want to practice certain type of meditation, like for example, the methods that's practiced in Power Meditation Center, which requires to sit very long, you need to get your health back first. Unfortunately, you have to solve your back pain. Maybe, I don't know, find doctors or whatever to try to solve your back pain. Then only you can't force it. Okay. Yeah, you can't ignore your body. So it's a chicken and egg problem. When your mind get more calm, actually it can not affect you that much, but you need the body to be well to get more calm first. Otherwise, you can't reach there. So I don't have a quick answer for you. The only thing I can give advice is, meantime, try to increase your wisdom, because this is my opinion only, that wisdom is very important in Buddhism. I felt too many people has emphasized too much on getting into concentration. Yes, I'm not saying that that's no good, that's useful, but wisdom is very important in Buddhism also. Noble Eightfold Path start with right view. It doesn't start with right concentration or right whatever. It starts with right view. So wisdom is important. And if your next question, if you ask me, then what is wisdom? Wisdom is, for example, what I talk about throughout today and the last month, about seeing things like I don't feel the people, the situation out there. I feel my thoughts. All my emotions doesn't come from out there. It comes from my thoughts. And that to me is if you can really understand this, it will change your life. You won't blame your wife, you won't blame your kids, you won't blame your husband for your anger, for your sadness, because it's not them that caused you that. Yes, we learn in Buddhism, it's not outside, but can you see, experience, and really see that it's not them, it's your thoughts? That will change your life in that sense. And when you can see the thoughts, I'm not asking you to change your thoughts. Can you also see your thoughts are not real? They keep changing. 1 minute you think that person is terrible. The next minute you might think they are really great. So it's unreliable. When it's unreliable, you won't believe it anymore. When you don't believe it, it will change by itself. Then that solves your problem. So to me, I would prefer people especially lay people, to try to increase their wisdom as much as they can, because they can use it everyday life. I'm not saying meditation, getting into concentration, you can't use it, but it takes time and you might not have the time. I can spend 10 years in the meditation monastery, but lay people cannot. So for the last few years, I prefer to encourage people to, if they want to sit, try to sit short period, but more frequent, maybe 10 times a day, but each time 5 minutes, rather than try to sit 1 hour. Okay, it doesn't help if you want to do the methods of meditation in Power Monastery, I know, but it still will provide this foundation. Okay, if every time if you can sit 10 sessions, each time 5 minutes, you already have this foundation. One day when your backs get better, you can still proceed with that. But meantime, try to increase your wisdom that you can use in everyday life. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next question. How do I?
Bante, we have.
So many. Can you? Can someone?
No worries.
Maybe Jason, you can read it out.
We have a question here from Brother Richard. Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody said that pain is just a sensation, whether pleasant or unpleasant. Is it due to our thinking?
Okay. Okay. What happens is pain is a sensation, pleasant, unpleasant, or neither pleasant nor unpleasant. It's not due to our thinking, okay? Because someone might stab you and beat you up. It's the pain is physical pain in there. But the problem is there is a pleasant, unpleasant, or neither pleasant, unpleasant pain situation on your body, which is not a problem. The problem comes when you personalize this feeling. When you have, when pleasant comes, you have like, unpleasant, you have don't like, and then you have I like, I don't like. That personalization is the problem. You claim ownership of that pain. That's very strange, but it's true, okay? We claim ownership even on things that we don't like. We also have my enemy. We claim ownership even on enemy. My friend is okay, but we claim ownership also on enemy. So same, we claim ownership on this pain. If you don't claim ownership on this pain, I'm not saying that the pain will go away. I'm saying that then you don't suffer that pain. There is pain, but there's no sufferer. And that makes a lot of difference. I always heard this in the text, but actually it's not something too difficult to experience. Very easy is, I give you the example is when you are in a sport, let's say in an intensive game, let's say basketball, you might get a cut or even a knock or even sprain your ankle. You might not feel it. You can continue playing because you are not paying attention to the ankle. You are not personalizing that pain. But after when it's over, when you feel it and think, oh, my ankle is very painful, that's double pain. Pain in the ankle and pain in my ankle. That second pain, mental pain, is much more difficult to handle than the first pain. The ankle pain is no problem. My ankle pain is a big problem. So this is what I'm trying to say to try to ignore. It's not a good word. Maybe not pay attention and not personalize that pain. Okay, next question. Do you want to read out, please?
Bante, give me a while here, Bante. Okay, we have another question here saying regarding medical professions. Nowadays, medical professions will prescribe antidepressants to patients. How to help such patients from Buddhism's point of view?
Okay, number one is I don't advise, if a person already start taking antidepressant, we cannot play the role of doctor and says don't take the antidepressant. This is a very, I have to be, very careful with this. How to help the patient is one way to try to explain to them that they are not their thoughts. They are not depressed. They are just having depressive thoughts, and they don't have to listen to that depressive thoughts. The thoughts are not them. The thoughts will keep coming, but they can not believe in the thoughts and indulge in the thoughts. Not even get rid of the thoughts. I'm not asking you to get rid of the thoughts. It's like when we are kids, when we get people bully us and we complain to our parents will tell us, if you don't entertain the bullies, they will stop bullying you because no more fun. The bullies gets their fun from your reaction, from your fright, from your fear and so on. So the thoughts get their fun from you getting fearful of them. If you don't pay attention to them. I'm not saying purposely try to push them away as in ignoring. You just don't pay attention to them. How you don't pay attention to them is by not believing it's as real. Depressive people think their thoughts is real. They think, oh, I'm sad, I'm really bad person, and so on. Another way is maybe to help them by improving their belief about themselves. You know, there are what do you call coaching sessions where people look at mirror and tell themselves, I'm fine, I'm happy, and so on. That will work to help the depressive person. Not about enlightenment and awakening in Buddhist sense, but at least get them out from this depressive situation first. Okay, if you have more questions from this, please ask, continue to ask. Next question.
From the chat box, we have another question. I believe it's very similar to the previous one. During meditation, there is a lot of thoughts, how to handle it.
Okay.
This is the question posted.
Okay, this is a good question, okay. Normally, we have this problem. We think that meditation is to get rid of thoughts, okay. Meditation is not to get rid of the thoughts. Actually, I like one Buddhist teacher who says that if his student during meditation session were to come to him and says that just now during meditation I have a lot of thoughts, he would say, very good, because he said it means that you're aware that you have a lot of thoughts. Most people are not even aware. So thoughts is not a problem. The problem is you believe the thoughts is true, then you indulge in the thoughts. So I would say that during meditation, if you have a lot of thoughts, if you know that you have a lot of thoughts, just don't indulge in it. Don't push it away. Just the minute you know you have thoughts, actually you're out of the thoughts. Then continue with your meditation object. Okay. So this is one thing. Don't try to get rid of the thoughts. Just every time you know you're thinking, you are already out of the thoughts, then continue with the meditation object. And also be careful, because some people think that why, when I started meditation a week ago, I have less thoughts, now I have more thoughts. Not necessarily you have more thoughts, it's that your awareness has become stronger. Last time you have 1,000 thoughts and you saw only 10. Now you maybe have 500 thoughts, but you saw 100. So your sharpness of mind may be more, so you saw more thoughts. Doesn't mean that you have more thoughts. So this one you can help. And also another way to solve this is you can try changing different meditation object. Okay, next question.
Okay. The question is posted by AMC122. Good evening, Bhante. Why some people, when visit some places, tears can come down without explanation? I will continue to the second question as well. Is deja vu real? Is it, or is it just a thought?
Okay. I won't know. Deja vu could be real, could be just a thought. Okay. It could be certain conditions in the past come together and you experience the same thing. But it could be just your thought. So it could be both. Okay. And why sometimes you have tears when without explanation is maybe in the past you have been to that place before and you have some very emotional experience in that place. So it happens again. So like you said, it might be deja vu. But whether it's really deja vu, I don't know. And I don't have the psychic to see. Okay, next question.
Okay. The next question posted on the chat would be from Ming Yi Oi. When someone makes our mind unpeaceful, should we accept the person as it is and wait for the condition to pass? Bracket, as you said, that the true freedom, or avoid association with the person to care for ourselves?
Okay, this is a very good question. Okay, I'm waiting for questions like this. Okay, what I explained in this talk and the past talk is not about what to do or not to do. Okay, because your question is what to do or not to do. Should I accept them or not accept them, and so on. What I'm trying to help you to see is the reality, okay? The reality is, and actually your misconception about reality. You think that it is your friend that makes you unpeaceful. Say, that's why you say here, when someone makes my mind unpeaceful, you think is that, no, maybe not friend, or maybe enemy. Anyway, whoever who makes you unpeaceful. But it is not. It is your thoughts that make you unpeaceful. So you have to see that difference. It's not the person that makes you unpeaceful, it's your thought. The person might say something, and then you start thinking, why did he say that to me? How come he's like this? Those are the ones that make you unpeaceful. So then the next question is what to do. When your mind calms down, when your mind are not disturbed by the thoughts that why he said that, how come he's such a bad person, when your mind calms down, you will know what to do. You might avoid association with that person, or you might be friendly to the person, or things might change. Because I'll give you an example. There is a guy who went to a transformative coach and tell the coach that the workplace she's in, she's in is terrible. Okay, as in everyone is giving her problem and she can't, do her work because everyone just find fault with her. And then she went through, the transformative course explained to her that the problems is not the situation outside, it's your thoughts. Slowly she understand that. Then a week later, the transformative coach called her and asked, how's things going? She says that, hey, everything is fine, it's going well. And the transformative coach asks, what about the colleagues are giving you problem? Say, yeah, but I haven't tried out your technique. And the transformative coach says, what do you mean haven't tried out? You haven't been to work? Say, yeah, I have been to work, but people are really nice. So I didn't need to do anything. People become nice in that sense is because imagine if you, every time you see a person, you think that guy is a bad guy, In your mind, you think that way. Actually, our mental thinking creates frequency vibes. That person can feel subconsciously that you think I'm a bad guy. So that person becomes a bad guy. So we influence the situation out there through our thinking. I'm not asking you to change your thinking. I'm just asking you, telling you that your unpeaceful feeling comes from your thoughts. When you don't believe your thoughts, those thoughts will go away. Your unpeaceful feeling will go away. When your mind is calm, you know what to do. You might not want to see that person anymore. It's up to you, but make it that decision from the calm mind. Okay, next question.
Okay, Bhante, the next one actually is from Brother Richard again. If you have acquired a certain level of wisdom, but later you suffer from Alzheimer's or dementia, would you lose your wisdom?
Oh, good question. I don't know. I don't have this experience, but I would say that you won't. Wisdom is not something that, from my understanding from the scripture, wisdom is not something that you lose. Once you realize something, okay, how to say, wisdom is not, it's not like, how to say, it's not like, it's something that you know. Okay, once you know that in the morning, next morning the sun will rise, you won't unlearn it. You know next morning the sun will rise. If you know that that all your feelings come from thoughts, you just know, you won't unlearn it, but you have to experience it, not just knowing from your intellect. So from my opinion is you will not lose it when you have Alzheimer's or dementia. Okay, next question.
Okay, the next question would be from TF Jambi / Mary Chen. I tend to avoid things that distract me. For easy example is Instagram or YouTube. I do enable them for several times, but when I open it, I got addicted again, and addicted also because I have addicted thoughts. It feels like I don't have self-control. I need some advice. Anumo dame bante. Social media question.
Social media, okay. Can't you switch off your social media? Avoid things that I tend to avoid. For example, okay. You actually, the best way for work in addiction is when you realize that you really don't need it anymore. Okay. How I explain this, okay? One person have this idea, and I buy into this idea that we always think that cigarettes is a poison, so we need to stop the person from taking the poison. But actually, if you look at it carefully, cigarettes is a medicine to those smokers. So you have to find what is the problem that caused them to need this medicine. When you solve that problem, then they don't need this cigarette medicine. The problem is they are stressful maybe, or they can't concentrate on what they are doing. So you got to solve those problems, then you don't need this medicine. Similarly, your addiction could be, you can't face the present moment. You just need something to distract you from present moment. Why you can't face the present moment? You have to try to analyze and see and try to solve it. So yeah, that's one way to solve this. Okay, there's someone who sent me a direct message. I try to answer this. Bante, for hot temper or quick temper or impatient persons, besides meditation, which may take a longer while to train and calm the mind, is there any other alternative approach to train our mind and slow the arousal and reaction against angry thoughts? Okay. Yeah, everyone wants quick solution. Now we live in the what do you call instant coffee, instant McDonald's, instant burger, and so on. So, yes, there is a quick answer, and that is, like I say, your anger and all that comes from your thoughts. So if you don't believe in your thoughts, then that anger will not last that long. Okay. You cannot try to have no anger immediately. That's impractical. The thing is, how long let's say normally you get angry for 1 hour, then if it's reduced by, let's say, to 45 minutes to half an hour and so on, that's improvement already. How to do that is what we have been discussing today, which is to see that your anger doesn't come from outside, it comes from your thoughts, and your thoughts are not real and it's impermanent and will pass. So that's the quick solution to this. Okay, next question.
Another one question from Ida Wijaja. Bante, how about Karuna and Mudita? Are they not real too, as anger, sad, and depressed?
Okay. Karuna and Mudita is that natural. Let me explain. Karuna, Mudita, Metta, Upeka is actually 4 comes together. Okay. Metta comes from when you don't have this attention only on yourself. When your attention is to all beings, then you lose this personalization of things. Okay. When you lose more of the personalization of things, you have this karuna, compassion. Compassion comes when you have this empathy for others because you feel the same in others. We are not, we are all interconnected. We are not separate. So you are actually moving towards no more personalization of feelings. So it's different from anger, sadness, and depression, and the normal happiness you have. Those are personalized experiences. It's like, I am angry at you, I am sad at you, or I'm happy today with you, I am pleased with you. This metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha is not from the idea of I. It's from the idea of, after you let go of this I, you have this bliss because you no longer have this burden of I. A lot of people get afraid that, if I lose this I, then what's going to happen to me? There's no more identity. Actually, when you lose this I, you have freedom. You no longer have to worry about, you no longer have to keep stress about your face, what if people talk bad about me, my reputation, and so on. I'm not saying that after that you will do silly things and all that to spoil your reputation. I'm saying that you don't have this burden of trying to protect your reputation, protect your name, and so on. So those are development of metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. Your normal happiness, anger, sadness, and all that comes from this I that you need to protect, and that personalization of all your experience that cause you suffering. Okay, next question.
We have a next question posted here from CF Yap. Bante, is thought come from brain or from heart?
Okay. Now, I can only give you a personal experience, a personal opinion or experience. According to science, now the research, our heart also have 40,000 neurons, which is brain cells. So heart is actually a second brain. So there's not much difference between your heart and brain because your heart is a second brain. And according to Abhidharma, our mind door process, the base is in the heart, Hadaya Watu. So Hadaya means heart, Watu is the foundation. So the foundation or the base for all the mental process is in the heart. Our emotions, all that, that's why we always say, emotions comes from the heart. So the heart is more the emotional part of our thinking. Okay, so whether it comes from the brain or the heart, I guess not too much difference and doesn't help you in your practical day-to-day life. Okay, any more questions?
So far, we have no more questions posted in the chat box.
Anyone directly?
Brothers and sisters, previously, anyone that has Bante that has replied, maybe you want to follow up or anything, you can just unmute yourself.
Yeah, if you have any follow-up questions from just now.
Bante,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the one that's asking the question that is the thought is come from the brain or from the heart? Because I got this question is because that I actually come across with some of the saying that when we practice like anapanasati, so we need to be like to focus our heart instead of to use our brain to focus on the breath. Yeah. So I sort of
focus. How do you use your heart instead of the brain? Because actually you use your mind to focus.
Yeah. Because yes, it's sort of like using our mind, but there's a saying that we use your heart. That means we have to put the attention at the heart area and to focus the breath.
But
So,
your focus is here. So yeah. Okay. Okay.
Because
to tell you traditionally what is the normal instruction, then I give you my opinion. Okay, traditionally it's very simple. We always say that just focus on here. Okay, and if you are doing the Mahasi method, focus on your rising, falling on the abdomen. So basically, to me, normally there is no problem because you can't use your brain. How to use your brain? You use your mind only to focus either here or there. Okay, but I sort of get you what you are trying to ask, because normally when we try to focus here, because we are so used to thinking, we will be like focusing like this. Okay, and that's where a lot of people got jammed. We call it jam, as in their mind got very heavy and all that, because they are really stressing themselves too much. Okay, so through my own personal experience, I realized that one way I could solve this is, instead of immediately putting attention on the breath, I put attention on my heart and feel the happiness on my heart, and then slowly pay attention onto the breath. And that helps me. Okay, whether it helps others, I don't know. But this is not a traditional way that people teach. But from my own personal experience, because I'm one person who think too much. Okay, so the attention is already here. So when I focus the breath, it's like this. So it becomes very tight. So one way to solve this is put my attention on the heart, feel the happiness, the joy in there, and then start on the breath. And that helps me. It might help you. Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Bante, we have one question here posted from AMC122. She mentioned maybe it's out of topic, but could I ask what's the real meta definition in Holy Arahan? Thanks, Bante.
What do you mean by real meta definition in Holy Arahan? I don't get the question. Okay. Yeah, you clarify if you are around. And the next question.
Yeah. Okay. I believe there's no more questions being posted on the chat group. Just a comment from Cindy Chu. Agree, Bante. I feel the flutter and happiness in my heart too.
Sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
Any
other?
Yeah. Brothers and sisters, any more questions? If not, we may move on to the next session, which would be the dedication of merits. Before we move on, I give counter 5, 4, 3, 2.
If not, I will share one story, then we finish.
Okay.
Okay, so this story I shared with the Indonesian group the last time I gave a talk. I can't remember the detail. This is a true story that happened in 1960s. Okay, this story will show you that our thoughts, we experience our thoughts. We don't experience the situation out there, including our body. And it shows you how powerful the thoughts are. It shows two effects together, the placebo effect and nocebo. For those who don't know what placebo is, it's basically someone taking a sugar pill, being told that it is medicine, very good medicine. He take it and his body got cured. Although it's just nothing, it's a sugar pill. It's the thinking that cured him. Nocebo is the opposite. Someone take a normal sugar pill and someone told it's a poison and he took it and he can actually die. Okay, so this story is a real case. I can't remember the exact date, around 1960, where one person had a 4th stage of cancer and he has a tumor as big as his orange all over the body, the neck, and so on. And at that time, there was an experimental drug that's just out. So this patient heard that there is experimental drug and begged his doctor to give him the experimental drug. But the doctor realized that this patient only has, I think, 1 week to live. He's basically going to die because at the end the cancer is too serious. And the company that produced this experimental drug, they want to experiment on patients which have 3 months left to live. So this guy don't even qualify because it's not worth even to test on him because he's going to die. But because he keep begging, the doctor somehow allowed him to take this medicine, managed to find a way to allow him to take this medicine. And because this guy had so much belief that this medicine worked, he took it and he was cured in a few days. The tumor shrink in, like the doctor says, in the report, it's like putting a snowball onto a hot stove. It just immediately shrink. Within a day, everything is gone. And within like 2-3 days, he woke up from the hospital, totally cured from his cancer. But the problem is, I think about months later, he read in the report that this experimental drug, the government found that actually it's not effective at all. It's just marketing. It's no effect. They've done real tests, it's no effect. When the guy read it, he realized that what he took has no effect and his cancer come back out. Then he went back to the same doctor and the doctor thought, first time he just thought that it's effective, then it works. So he decided to give him just sugar water as injection. But he told him that, oh, last time was not effective because that batch was not effective. But the company has produced a more effective, super concentrated version. And you are special, you're privileged, I'm going to give it to you. But it's all white lies. The doctor just gave him sugar water. And that guy, again, a week later, this true story, he was cured. The tumor was all gone again, and he was very happy doing his life, totally cured, no more cancer at all. He was tested, totally cured. But a few months later, again, maybe the clue is don't read too many newspapers. He read in the newspaper that this company, all the medicine produced by this company are not effective. The government has done a thorough check, all not effective. And so this patient realized that even the second time, it's not effective, it's not true. And his tumor came back out. He died. The important thing is not about he died or not died. The important thing is about the body can change. We feel not the real body. We feel our thinking. When our thinking it flips the other way. When I'm thinking this way, it flips this way. So that's how powerful thoughts are. So, but I'm not asking you to change to positive thoughts. Yes, if you change to positive thoughts, it's good. But then you have this pressure or stress that I'm not thinking positive. I need to think positive thought. I'm just telling you that thoughts are not real. They can just flip, to this way or that way. So not believing your thoughts is the best way to go. Okay, you end here.
Yes. So there was one. Okay, we will do one last question. Is it okay with you, Bante?
We can, yeah, we'll take the last question.
One last question from Simfo Yana. Bante, is mental disease real or that is only nowadays scientist invention?
Okay, I know where you're getting at. I won't say it's not real, but I would say that when you name a disease, you personalize it, then you got this problem. Okay. We have time. Okay. So I want to tell another story to illustrate this. So what happens is when you tell the person he is depressed, the depressed person, then the person start thinking I'm depressed person. When you tell the person he is schizophrenia, then he thinks he's schizophrenia. But I'm not telling you go and tell the person you're not schizophrenia. Okay, you have to very skillfully do it. I want to tell you, this is another real story. Okay, there is this. I can't remember his name, but he's a psychiatric doctor, and managed to heal many American, of course, heal many mental patients with mental disease. And one transformative coach called Michael Neal was very amazed with this, and he went to his lecture and tried to understand how he managed to heal his patients. And how he managed to do it is, he realized no one can copy him because this is his attitude. This psychiatrist have this attitude that every human have natural mental health. That means everyone is okay. It's just that they think they are not okay. Okay. He come from this mindset. That means you are already okay. But from normal people, normal doctors, when they see a person who has mental problem, think, oh, this guy not okay, I have to fix it. For him, he think he's naturally okay. It's just that the thoughts make him not okay. So this transformative coach interviewed some of the patients, and he says there's one patient who was like really got mental problem until they have to do electric shock on her, and she was cured. Okay, but this patient said that the first time, because before she saw this doctor, she was taking a lot of medicine until she's very, really, she can't see things clearly, very groggy state. She said first time she met this psychiatrist who finally cured her, it's like the psychiatrist immediately tell her, you are actually okay. And when she heard that, she says, oh, finally they sent a doctor who is as mad as me. She has this thought at first, but finally the doctor did manage to cure her. So I would say that science has improved until we can label different type of mental disease, like you have depression, you have bipolar, you have this. But the problem is the minute we are labeled, we personalize it. That's also the problem. By labeling it, it helps to give special attention to this patient, but by labeling it also, we make the person personalize it. If you can have a doctor that has this mentality that we are naturally already okay, it's just that we create this not okay outside, we can always go back to this okay, then that will be solved. But you need a lot of skill, and it cannot be make-believe, This doctor already have this in him. You can over time maybe, but it takes some skill. So maybe we finish here unless any other things. Okay.
I believe Bhante, you have answered most of their questions very well, and we call it a wrap, and we shall move on to the dedication of merits. Bhante, may I invite you, please?
Okay. Are we going to have the words, or I'll just lead? Okay.
I believe you just lead, Bhante.
Okay. Okay. So in our mind, we share merits with all beings, all Dharma protectors, all devas, all sentient beings, all family member, relative, friends, especially departed family member, relative, friends, and chasters. We make aspiration, always with the wise, avoid the foolish, be free from great hatred delusion until we reach Nibbana. And again, we share merits with all beings, wishing each and every single beings to be able to get equal portions of the merits. Etawata chamehi sampadam punya sampadam sabe devanumodantu sabba sampati sitya. Etawata chamehi sampadam punya sampadam sabe bhutanumodantu sabba sampati sitya. Etawata chamehi sampadam punya sampadam sabe satanumodantu sabba sampati sitya. Dhamme nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Dhamme nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Dhamme nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yawa nibbana patiya. Idame punyam asawa kaya wahang hotu. Idame punyam nibbana sa pacayo hotu. Mama punya bagang sabha satanang pajema. Te sabe me samam punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay. I believe that will be the end of our session today. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your spending your time with us today. I hope that you have learned much from this session. In regards to the next episode, we will update through the WhatsApp group and also the Facebook on the next date in February. Take care.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye.